You'll find quite a lot of thrills and chills to look forward to this week in comic book horror, so before you head out to your local comic shop, be sure to listen close to what you should be on the lookout for. Here's what's new in comic book horror, March 1st, 2023. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Let's check out this week in comic book horror, March 1st, 2023. This week in indie horror comics, you just might discover the horror masters of tomorrow by checking out these horror comics from small press and independent publishers. Following the path of a bloody anti-hero, BONECHECK number 3 is from Legends Publishing with a story and art by Camron Johnson. A pair of detectives attempt to track down a serial killer who leaves his victims hollowed. The first issue is from Keenspot, and it's written by Casey Bowker and drawn by Darius Johnson. The first issue of Rock and Roll Hell from Sumerian Comics has a death metal band named Feral Carnage accidentally resurrect Jesus Christ with its pyrotechnics show, and upon seeing the band's fans, Jesus immediately passes judgment on them and sends them to hell. Now it's up to Feral Carnage to take on Jesus to save their fans. Hells to the yes. That sounds awesome. Finally, Scout Comics delivers DEADFELLOWS number 1 by Kody Hamilton with art by Ramiro Borallo. It's the story of a poor schlub named Pete who is ditched by his girlfriend and moves into a tiny apartment that happens to be inhabited by ghosts. Loneliness, angst, and the paranormal. Sounds like a great mix. Here we go. This is what you've all been waiting for. It's This Week in
Ass, titties, ass and titties, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties.
Here's a whole new gaggle of cheesecakey comics to ogle at. Purgatory Must Die number 3 from Dynamite Entertainment continues to have the red-skinned demoness on the run from everyone. It's by Ray Fawkes and Álvaro Sarraseca. Flesh-Eating Cheerleaders from Outer Space number 5 from Dren Productions doesn't mind wearing its surface-level titillation on its sleeve. Or maybe on the front of their sweaters. Looks like some peppy cannibalism is on the plate from James Mascia and Felipe Obando. And bouncing down the way comes the most intriguing title of the week. Big Titty Goth Girlfriends on the Moon, number 2, is from Sirk. Hello, color me interested. I don't know who's writing or drawing this one, but the title certainly knows what the fans want.
Those tiggle bitties.
Okay, let's towel off after that last section and check out This Week in Undead Comics. Horror Comics number 20 from Antarctic Press features the beginning of a new 6-issue story arc called Uncanny Valley. It's about a man trying to live in a secluded mountain valley who tries to avoid going insane as the zombie apocalypse swirls around him. This shambler is by Francesco Moriconi and Midori Yamane. They aren't zombies, but they aren't alive either, as the Sandman universe presents The Dead Boy Detectives number 3 from DC Comics. Pornsak Pichekshot and Jeff Stokely have the formerly living PIs look into a case involving a snake ghost. Also from DC is Sergeant Rock vs. the Army of the Dead number 6. Writer Bruce Campbell continues to surprise me at how good he is at writing horror comics, as Easy Company takes on Hitler and his hordes of undead soldiers. This one has art by Eduardo Riso. The Big Kahuna of zombie comics, The Walking Dead Deluxe, reprints issue number 58 in bloody color. Kirkman and Adlard represent the reintroduction of Morgan, who has gone through some changes since we last saw him in the first issue of The Walking Dead. So what does the number 1 publisher have to offer in terms of horror? Let's check out This Week in Marvel Horror. First, we have Ghost Rider number 12 from Benjamin Percy and Corey Smith as Johnny Blaze and his goth FBI agent girlfriend cross paths with Danny Ketch, who has a history as the Ghost Rider himself. New Spidey villain Hallows Eve gets her own series by Erica Schultz and Michael Dowling. I dig Hallows Eve's powers as she gains a specific demonic power with every Halloween mask she dons. And speaking of Spidey, Spider-Man Unforgiven #1 introduces a new team of vampire superheroes who need the Wallcrawler's help to take on the sorceress Salome. This one is brought to you by Tim Seeley and Sid Koshian and sports a cool cover by Uber artist Kyle Holtz. But while Marvel horror is okay, some of the best horror lurks outside of the House of Ideas. IDW Publishing unleashes the second issue of Breath of Shadows by Rich Douek and Alex Cormack as a band travels to a remote jungle for inspiration for their new album and finds something quite terrifying. Where Monsters Lie #2 from Dark Horse Comics continues to follow a secret community made up of serial killers. That one's by Kyle Starks and Piotr Kowalski. Finally, Image Comics has a pair of awesome ongoing horror titles this week. We continue to uncover untold terrors in and around a cabin in the woods in I Hate This Place #6. This one is also by Kyle Starks, with art by Artoyam Topelin. Check out this mesmerizing cover for King Spawn #20. Spawn takes on a new breed of monster in this issue by Sean Lewis and Javier Fernandez. Mark Spears is the guy responsible for that terrifying cover. Finally, here's my horror pick of the week. I always try to check out any new issue by Jeff Lemire. He's one of the smartest writers in the biz. Here he's teamed up with artists Gabriel H. Walta and Jordi Belair and schmelted forth Phantom Road #1. It's about a long-haul trucker who rescues a woman from a car crash, and they find themselves pursued by horrifying nightmare creatures through the barren wastelands of Middle America. I can't wait to check this one out, and I think you should too. Well, that's it for this week's haul. Let me know which horror comics look good to you down in the comments.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside that reality.